All right, welcome back to Twin Terror. I'm David.
I'm Gary.
Gary's doing cheers over there. Today we're going to talk about Allan Lichtman and his predictions for the 2024 presidential election, and then we will follow up with the energies of the two political parties.
Yes, indeed. So Lichtman is supposed to come out with his final prediction sometime around Labor Day, I think I read. And so he's got the 13 keys, and he's been predicting elections since what, 1984? It's been a long time.
He's been doing it for a little while.
It's about 40 years he's been doing it. He's only missed once, and that was the election.
Gore v. Bush with Florida.
And I think we can all say that was really a toss-up on that one there. And depending which political party you were that you're currently in, you could say that either candidate won. So yeah, we'll give him a pass on that one.
I think I think a reasonable person would give him a pass. Yeah. Now he's got 13 keys to predict elections, and that the incumbent party has to be on, and it's true or false, yes or no. And if it's false or no in 6 of the 13 keys, that incumbent party is going to lose the White House. He's been doing his forecast 20 years ago, and he's right at 9 of the last 10. Let's see. He says right now, I'm looking at a post on the Miami Herald. Sorry for the disjointed narration here. The Democrats are only down in 3 of the 6 keys. They are down in the mandate key because they lost the House in the 2022 election, in the incumbency key because Joe Biden is no longer the candidate, and in the charisma key because it's too early to say if Harris is charismatic. The article writer in the Miami Herald said, won't Trump win the charisma key? As horrible a human being as he is, as we think he is. And Lichtman said he doesn't fit the definition of the charisma key. The keys require that you be broadly appealing. You can't just do appeal to a narrow base like Trump. Okay, so that's the background. Now, Gary and I were talking a little bit before we started, and I think we could make a case that even for the 3 keys that Democrats are allegedly down, according to Allan Lichtman, that they are probably either not down or they're, to us, would be extenuating circumstances. So, like, for instance, working backwards, the charisma key. He says it's too early to say whether Harris is charismatic or not. We know that Trump is very well-loved and beloved by his MAGA base. But one of the knocks is that he doesn't appeal broadly to other people. If anything, he excludes people, and he just keeps narrowing and narrowing and narrowing the MAGA core.
Yeah, because he's not like attracting more people into MAGA. So he's got his core MAGA, and they're dying off, due to old age or disease or just
COVID,
Darwinism.
Yeah, and then there's Kamala Harris reaching out to new groups.
Yeah, exactly. So like with Kamala Harris, when she became the front runner for the Democratic ticket, all of a sudden they noticed there was a bunch of young voters registering. She generated a lot of excitement and buzz with the young voters. And to me, that's a sign that this person is charismatic. They're generating excitement. They're generating buzz. They're broadening their appeal. And to me, yeah, Trump is very charismatic to his MAGA base, which is a set size and getting smaller. Whereas Harris is expanding her and broadening her base of enthusiasm. So
keep going.
I would say Lichtman might want to rethink. He might rethink that by September 6th.
Mind you that his keys here, they're a living document. They will be adjusted and tweaked and redefined. Certainly, this election is unlike anything we've seen before. This is not a cookie cutter election. This is not like Obama versus Mitt Romney type of thing, or Clinton versus forgetting the name of the former David, come on, you got to be able to pull the names out. Anyways, switching gears, one of the God, I'm all distracted with these freaking screens here. I was watching. There's a woman on Fox who is a Democrat, and she's on like a panel of 5 people, and she's like the one Democrat versus 4 Republicans. She does a remarkable job of holding her own, and I'll have to go to liberal confession because I can't ever remember her name. Anyways, I was watching a little quick clip on TikTok of her, and she was describing how they had a focus group of undecided independent voters watching the DNC, and there were like 8 of them. And after the DNC and Kamala Harris, specifically Kamala Harris's speech, they asked those 8 independent voters if they've, after watching Kamala Harris's speech, have they changed their mind? 6 of the 8 said they would be voting for Harris. So to me, is that really scientific? Yeah, maybe. They're seeing that. Of course, if they watched Trump's, they might have said, "Oh, heck no." But it's showing an appeal especially for independents who haven't made up their mind yet. So Gary and I would argue that I think the charisma key probably is going to fall in Kamala Harris's favor.
Yeah, I think that's going to lean her way. Bob Dole is the name you're looking for.
Thank you. The next one would be the incumbency key. Yeah, okay, Biden's not running, so he's not the incumbent. Trump used to be an incumbent. He lost in 2020, and now he's running again. So does he count as an incumbent or not an incumbent?
Yeah.
Technically, he's not an incumbent. Yeah. Kamala Harris is not currently the president, but she's the number 2.
Yeah.
She's second in command to Biden and with this administration. Does that make her the incumbent? Not technically, but you can see where you're eating on the edges of this one, that this one may not be as important because of she's not so unknown. Yes. Trump is known. Usually the thing I would my guess is with the incumbent, you know what you're getting. And with Trump, you know what you're getting, even if he's not the current president of the United States.
Right.
So that one may be sketchy.
Yeah, I'd say that's one that you might just want to tie base goes to the runner type of thing. Just just set that one aside.
Yeah, they might exactly. I think I would put that one aside and say, so let's ignore this one. Yeah. And then the last one is the mandate, and the justification was the Democrats didn't win the House in 2022. But at the same time, remember that huge red wave we were supposed to have, and 50, 40, 50, 60 House GOP members, and they got enough to hold the House by like 7 votes. And then they got down to none, and now they're up to like 2 to 3.
Yeah, they're steadily losing, because people are leaving, people are getting convicted. So, I don't know how much of a mandate that one is.
And if you've paid any attention to the antics in the House, this hasn't exactly been a House of Representatives that's moved forward legislation. It's been a freaking clown show inside a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
It may not be that key may not be the strong flex like it might normally be in any other election. I'm kind of curious if it'd be funny if you weighted them, how that would be, because I would imagine Congress in the in the 90s, for instance, where we go back to Clinton and Dole, Congress got a lot of stuff done. There's a lot of bickering and arguing, but they got a lot of stuff done. They got nothing done this time around.
No, yeah,
they can't even freaking get a budget put together.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. They can't even get a budget passed.
They can't do the simple stuff.
Yeah. Much
All right, so we're almost 10 minutes into this thing. Maybe some cards should be thrown at some point.
Yeah, we should probably warn the people that hate our banter. Skip to 9:30.
I'll throw something in the title. Reading starts at 10 minutes. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at Allan Lichtman and the energy around his poll and see how predictive, using predictive tarot cards, how predictive is Allan Lichtman's poll going to be for this upcoming election? Okay,
entertainment purposes only.
I think this is for entertainment purposes only.
I hope so.
No, I sound like an echo in here. All right, my deck's upside down. All right, so we've got the 9 of Swords. Allan Lichtman's like, you guys, come on, man. I had this thing sharply honed, and now you idiots come in here and mess it all up. Ultimately, I think it's going to work out. Allan Lichtman's going to be fine with his pull. Right now, it's showing the nine of swords, stress and anxiety.
I think you already touched on it on the preamble. For those of you that skipped it, you touched on it that this is a completely different scenario than his poll has ever tried to predict. There's so many differences in this election compared to what we've done over the last 40 years that the keys might need to be modified a little bit to reflect modern times.
Yeah. He may not be as confident in it. I think what this is saying, he may not be as confident in his poll as he's been in elections previous because of all the gray around the edges that is not normally there.
Yeah.
What are we going to cross this with? The Chariot. But, the election's going to go on anyways. He will make amendments to his model after this election. I still think he feels confident that we got a pair of nines here too. I think he's confident that everything's going to work out, or at least nine of these things are probably going to be okay, or something like that. He's going to be all right. Two and past the Two of Wands. Here comes another election. Here we go. Going to put my model to the test, and that's one of the things about science. Science doesn't prove anything. I know you could fall over and have a heart attack. Science doesn't prove anything. They disprove things. And what you do is you come up with theory and you test it. You try and poke holes in it to see if it'll withstand challenges. And eventually, you can take these theories and you can accept them as fact. And they will be facts until something comes along to disprove it. In which case, it's not a fact anymore, because if it was a fact, you can't disprove it. So science never proves anything. They just disprove things. And in the absence of disproof, we consider that proof, truth, factual type things. So
what does science think about alternative facts, though?
Well, I'm sure they have very strong opinions on it. We call them lies.
Okay.
Here we go again, testing them. But for Allan Lichtman, this is the exciting type of year, because here comes this model. It's going to be tested again. And how's it going to stand up to this election? Current situation is the Three of Cups. Here we go again with another, the three. I think his prediction's going to be fine. Another three. It's funny, you've got the six keys, and we're down to three here. Overarching energy. It's the backroom dealing, the stuff going on behind the scenes. He will, even as things go now, he's rethinking. He's thinking about his method. How does it impact with stuff that's going on that we've never seen before? Behind closed doors. You've never seen elections like this before. Trump is such a chaos agent in all of this. The lesson to be learned is the Two of Cups. There will be modifications. It's funny. There will be modifications, maybe not many, but it's like these modifications will sort of be on the sidelines, but they won't be enacted because you've got one wild card factor. I just mentioned Trump's a chaos agent, and I always think of this lion as being Trump. He's the one that poisons the whole system. Everything he touches dies. And, even though you're working with facts, here's the thing. You've got half of the electorate, or something approximating half the electorate, who's been fed a bunch of lies and don't have the facts. How does Allan Lichtman's model take into account when people are flat out lied to?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any component like that in there. But I think in the end of the day, his thing's going to work out. Yeah, things are going to work out for him. Things are going to work out with his model, and he'll be happy with it. I think he'll probably he'll look to make tweaks. Thank you for auto exposuring. He'll make tweaks to it, but I don't think there'll be any major changes until we have a couple of normal elections under our belt.
God, yeah, it's certainly the dynamics have changed fundamentally here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a reading on the energy on the Republican ticket right now.
Because you're a God-fearing
yeah.
patriot.
With RFK Jr., the reason I'm doing this is because I can remember that RFK Jr. is the person that has suspended their campaign. And
JFK Jr., but JFK Jr. was supposed to be vice president.
Not Ted Kennedy, not Joe Kennedy, not the dead Kennedys, but
dead Kennedys, Henry Rollins.
So RFK Jr. suspended his campaign, thrown his support to Trump because he was able to pimp himself for the highest dollar amount to Trump. And so let's see if that has changed the energy on the GOP's ability to pull this election out for Trump. Now, this is for entertainment purposes only, unless you're Melania Trump, in which case she's not entertained at all.
Oh God, he was up there at a speech in Arizona and saying that Melania said, "Darling, you're not like that." Melania has never called Trump darling in the last 15, 20, 18 years.
Yeah.
Darling and sir is his words for saying I'm lying about this story. It never happened.
Clearly. Well, someone in the comments was saying that RFK Jr.'s wife doesn't like Trump. And I said, that's okay. Trump's wife doesn't like him much either. So there you go. They'll have something in common. Okay, so the foundation of the reading is the Eight of Wands. So things are happening fast. Yes, RFK Jr. has suspended his campaign. So now we got to move quickly. Get that communication out there. This is a sure sign of victory. I don't know for whom, but underneath it all is a victory. They see this as a victory or a path to victory for the Republicans. Underneath it is the Ace of Cups. Yes, this is an emotional time. It's a new emotion. It's a kind of like a new beginning for this campaign. This was the catalyst the Republicans needed to move this thing forward. In the past, the World card, it's about cycles, it's about completions. Certainly for Trump, this seeking the presidency and becoming the 47th president is his world, because if he doesn't get it, his world is going to come imploding in on him in a big, big way. So he needs this. He needs all the help he can get. The current energy is the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man, it's kind of looking at things from a different perspective. Certainly, RFK and Trump have looked at things from different perspectives, like with the whole COVID vaccine, and basically RFK Jr. is kind of a vaccine denier, and Trump's the one that promoted the vaccine.
Out of the box thinkers there.
Yeah, so they don't
put it back in the box.
They don't see things the same way. But right now, Trump needs him. Even if he doesn't see eye to eye or doesn't look at things the same way, he needs whatever RFK Jr. can provide him. The overarching energy is the High Priestess, the Keeper of Secrets, Divine Feminine Knowledge, Joe Biden. I think in this case, behind it all is you still have the women voters, where RFK Jr. is certainly going to bring voters back into the Trump camp, but a lot of the voters that were going for RFK Jr. were never Trumpers. They might have gone for Nikki Haley. Maybe Nikki Haley they weren't too enthused with either. They just felt that RFK Jr. was a better solution than either Joe Biden or Trump. And so now Biden's taken himself out, and Kamala Harris has stepped in, and some of those folks have left. And now RFK Jr. has suspended his campaign. So where are the remainder of these folks going to go? Some will go to Trump, and undoubtedly some will go to Trump. But I suspect some are just going to start either not voting for the presidential ticket, or they're going to go for the Green Party or some other party that's not the Democrats or the Republicans.
Libertarian would be the most likely one, because it's all about the government out of my life.
I would agree with you. The lesson to be learned is the Ace of Swords, that sword of truth. It's even though RFK brings people forth and they may go to Trump's campaign, the end of the day, the truth is the truth. There's no alternative facts. You have truth and you have not untruths. And, these people that were in RFK's camp, they don't believe in Trump's truths. Truth social be damned. That is not truths. Those are alternative facts, and I'm not buying into them. And the fact of the matter is, the women still don't buy into it. The outcome, very fitting. The Nine of Swords. This has been described as yet another albatross that's being hung on the neck of Trump, and I kind of tend to agree, because RFK Jr. comes with a lot of baggage, and I'm really surprised the Six of Swords didn't show up somewhere in here. But the Nine of Swords, it's a nightmare scenario. The women voters are not flocking to Trump. They are actively moving away, and this is just not going to be the victory. They're going to tout it as a victory and parade it around. Look at us, we did so great. But at the end of the day, it's a nightmare scenario for the GOP, and I don't see this as being the silver bullet that's going to bring Trump to victory.
Yeah, if I were a big money backer, I would not be excited by that change.
No. Hey, you have any thoughts on this?
Nope, I think you got it.
Okay. So why don't you throw something on the Democratic Party?
Yeah.
Your party.
They're too conservative for my liking.
Okay.
All right. Democrats. Look at them. Okay, I got the world card.
Imagine that.
Yeah, we are the world. It's bringing everything full circle here. I think there's worldwide. Again, if the world could vote, I certainly have seen from my comments from Canada, and yeah, about that shirt.
From Sydney, my stepdaughter got it for me.
I think there's worldwide appeal for the Democrats to win this. If Canadians and Australians could vote, this would be a freaking landslide. But I think that the Democrats, I think they've sealed it here with their appeal. And the Knight of Wands, they've got a plan going forward here with this. In the past, you got the Seven of Coins, reaping what you sow, evaluating it. I think that basically, with the Ace of Cups, the Democrats have found the winning combination with Harris and Walz, and the relatability that people have to, for folks that like the law and order part of it, Kamala Harris comes across as very grounded, sensible. She's also strong. She doesn't let people talk over her. She has a driven thing. Hillary had some of these things, but people didn't. There was something about her personality that they didn't like. Kamala's got a very grounding effect, but she's also tough as nails. You're not going to push this woman around. Tim Walz, he's the good cop. He's got that relatable father Midwestern energy, and the combination of the two is going to be it seals the deal. People genuinely excited by this ticket. This isn't which party am I going to have to vote against?
Yeah.
Finally, they have a ticket together for a party to vote for. Current situation is the devil card. I'm going to read this in a very positive light. This ticket is the kind of ticket that can cause people who voted Republican all their lives to take the chain off and say, you know what? again, this is a party I can vote for as opposed to me having to vote against something like that. It's
and look who they had speaking at the DNC. They had Adam Kinzinger, for example. No one's going to accuse him of being a Democrat. And
trust me, he's no Republican. I guess they call him a rhino. He's not a Democrat. But, yeah.
But I mean, it's just there's so many moderate Republicans that are just like, no, and no. We're taking the chains off. I totally agree, and I think your underneath card with the Ace of Cups are to jump in on that. I think that's also that youth vote. Young people getting excited. It's like, young people tend to historically have not necessarily been very politically driven. I guess in the 60s they were, or the early 70s. But
they're out there living their lives, doing kid things. Last thing they want to do on a Tuesday is go schlepping over to the voting poll, stand in line for a while, and cast a vote. That gets in the way of being on the internet doing fun stuff.
Yeah. So I keep going. You're doing great.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, please.
Overarching energy, the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, they're delivering values. They're bringing forward a message of values, opportunity to do something different, to build. They're going to get a mandate. I think the Democrats are going to do really well. Gary was asking, someone was asking if the Democrats will get a supermajority. I think that's wishful thinking, but I do think the Democratic as a party is going to get a really big push from this. People are excited and they want to know how to help. There is a wave of enthusiasm with this. Outcome is going to be the Three of Wands. Only 3 months to the election.
Yeah.
And actually, it's less than 3 months, right? Because that 3 months.
We're
2 months away. Waiting for your ship to come in. There's an excitement there. There's an enthusiasm. They can't wait to start casting their ballots.
Yeah.
I think you have to go back to Obama. Certainly, his reelection was there, but I would say the first Obama campaign in 2008 was the last time I could think of seeing such enthusiasm. And before that, you probably have to go back to 1980 with Reagan.
Yeah.
And again, in my lifetime, for our viewers who have seen more suns and more seasons than we have, you can even make the argument that, how funny is this? Nixon, especially in 72, I think he won like 2/3 of the vote or something crazy like that.
Well, it's really crushed it. Yeah, JFK certainly had a lot of people were very enthusiastic, and was it Stevenson in the 50s?
Adlai Stevenson?
Yeah,
he was against Eisenhower.
Yeah, I mean, he really had the young people enthusiastic, but he just couldn't pull it out. So, but that was before our time.
Yeah.
Kennedy and Stevenson.
After a series of elections where you're voting against somebody, this has been a nice election where you actually want to vote for somebody.
Yep.
And certainly, and again, the MAGA folks they're excited to vote for Trump. Nothing brightens their day more than making other people miserable. And Donald Trump is the delivery device in order to deliver that misery to others.
Yes.
Gary's had comments saying we trash on MAGA. Sorry, hatred's the point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we we had a commenter that said, we shouldn't call the Republicans and MAGA party names because it takes away from the readings. I don't think we really go out of our way to call anyone a name, but there certainly MAGA's not going to get a lot of positive press. In some ways we're empathetic or sympathetic to them because they're being fed a big stew of lies, but they keep eating the stew, and at some point they just absolutely steadfastly refuse to stop and think about what it is they're consuming and whether it's really good for them or not. They seem to be very happy to just go down the path that they're going.
Yeah, they don't, you don't see them doing anything to improve their lives. It seems like they're more focused on making everybody else miserable. Seriously, imagine would be if you could say, we're gonna burn your house down, but you'll own the libs by doing that, or throwing the Keurigs out the window when I think they talked against Trump and everybody was breaking their coffee machines. So breaking your Keurig was going to own the libs. But how do you explain that to your wife when she goes to make her a cup of coffee in the morning and you've told her you've destroyed it? Yeah. What you're going to do is go buy another one. Dummy. Kid Rock shooting up a 12-pack of Bud Light with an AR-15. That's great. Did you own the libs with that? Do you feel better now? M&Ms that wear go-go boots and might be a lesbian? Dr. Seuss books that you've never read? When they said the titles of the Dr. Seuss books that they were banning, I had never heard of any of them.
Oh.
And Gary and I read enough Dr. Seuss books as kids, and no, never heard of them. It's like, do stuff that benefits you as opposed to making other people miserable.
Yes. And we will support you.
Exactly. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video and support our channel. We appreciate it.
Yeah, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. I read them all, and I respond to many.
All right. Everyone, thank you very much. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.